Hello and welcome to the most wild Friday night of your life. I am Tom Elwes. I am joined today, as ever, by my co-host, Mr. Ali Woods. I say Friday night, ladies and gentlemen, because that is exactly when we were recording this podcast on our Friday night.
Friday night, Tom. We ain't got much of our 20s left, lad. And here we are, sitting in,
making the most of them.
making the most of them.
Yeah.
This feels it's a ladies and gentlemen and everything in between listening to this fantastic next episode of All I Do Is Fail, which many are saying is the best episode that's ever aired. So I'm just gonna say that right at the top. To be fair, not a high bar to jump over. And it's currently 9:13 p.m. on a Friday this is, and let's get more context on this, Tom, the week of Freedom Week. This is.
And what are we up to do on our Freedom Week Friday, Ali? Do we even opt to even go into the studio and do it? Absolutely not. Just do it in our homes that we've been in for months.
Yeah, the throwback. This is like a retro being like, so I'm a bit edgy. Like on Freedom Week, I actually stayed in lockdown. So
we're
like
go against the grain. Everyone else,
exactly.
Amateurs.
So I'll explain to you some listeners of why this is. It's mainly because I got the call up to this gig it's called, well, actually I'm not going to say what it's called. It's a festival based on Volkswagen Beetle owners, and it's generally for petrol heads. Have I not told you this?
Wow. So this is when people are like, "Oh, comedy. Where do you get to perform? You doing like Glastonbury? You doing Reading Festival? What festival?
I guess you were just like partying with Justin Bieber after he was offset, whatever. Not quite. I got this sticker. As the YouTube viewers will see, that's the sort of rider I got.
Secure your valuables.
Your valuables sticker you can put on your car, and it's from the Bedfordshire Police. That's
wow.
Whatever, get over it. Don't do it for that though. Do it for the love of the comedy.
Yeah. And so you were at this festival. You're like, you turned down Glastonbury, Reading, Leeds, and you were like, this is it. I want to be playing the Volkswagen Beetle Owners Festival.
The
festival of medium speed.
That's for the people. So we have a 2-hour drive there from London, right? And I was lucky enough to drive with another comedian. Drive there, right? And we're driving in, and it's all about cars. There's just fucking cars everywhere, and everyone's comparing cars. People are looking at each other's Beetles, each other's camper vans, and then we get to our backstage bit, which is behind a tent. It's a big fucking tent, to be fair. Big tent.
Yeah.
And so we go, right, let's have a wander. They have a proper fairground style. What is it, like a carny? English, but it's like English style. So I was saying to the other comedians, I was like, I really sort of want to go on these rides, but also these are exactly the rides where you hear the news story of like, two men today, lost their arms on what was ironically a ride called the Leg Breaker. And it's the sort of machines of death where I feel like they were illegal, and then someone was like, look, I'll sell you it, just put a coat of paint on it and give it a different name, and no one's going to know the difference.
Well, so, if you buy it in a country where it is legal, then
it's the finest. It's the finest teacup ride allowed in Belarus.
Exactly.
There was a teacup ride which had drum and bass in it, like loud. I didn't really understand.
They always do. You go to those fairgrounds, just so much. As soon as you hear like a klaxon sound, like and then some like sped up house music playing, and then just like some horrific ride where you're like mainly strapped in due to G-force and nothing else.
The bar comes down about 3 inches, and that's it. And you're sort of trying to hold on to it while you're sort of almost flying off the thing.
A little kid just sliding and slinging across.
Exactly. There's this huge guy who's just slid. G-force has pushed him up against this 12-year-old kid, and the kid's like, "Mom!"
And the weird thing is, you're going absolutely mental in these rides, but then the carny who's running the ride will be skipping across the different carriages.
Yeah, to go chat out the bird who's running the next ride. Or he's doing that, or he's sitting there watching the chaos, just chewing gum, like he's checking his phone, like the most blasé person ever. So he's not going to dive in and save us.
You want to go faster?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not even put it on yet.
Yeah.
So then we go through that. There was a magician on stage, on one of the stages, who we saw. So we saw the magician, and he was giving his spiel at the start. A couple of people sort of walking over towards, like, cool. Walked past him, went to. There was a drag race strip, and that was the main thing. Saw a chap in a t-shirt that said "Live." Live, eat, drag race, repeat was on his t-shirt,
right.
and so we watched some of the drag races, and they weren't with like supercars. They were people's VWs, people's Beetles were just racing them down the strip.
Sick,
but you know what? It was all right to watch them. Just watching them down there.
Whatever.
I don't think they were, the hugest fans of like Greta Thunberg and that down there.
No.
But anyway, so we're like, right, we should watch a bit of Drag Race. Should get back, and there's all sorts of people there. It's British hillbillies. That's what the festival's for. It's for the sort of Little England, like villages, petrol heads.
Loads of diversity. Then is that what you're saying?
I think I saw one non-white person. Two. So when I came on and said, we should have remained.
That's when they got weird. That's when they got weird.
I took the knee for 2 minutes at the start. Mass walkout. And you can't say anything in this country anymore. So then we were walking back to the venue. The magician is now wrapped in cling film by audience members.
Oh.
I don't know if he had asked them to do that or they had gone rogue. Just decided to take on. But we went back and the gig started. And I was on. There were 2 acts and then an MC. So and I was on, and it was all right. Actually, it was all right. Sort of lost them for a couple of minutes, but generally, they were generally really nice. So cool. I can't complain. There were kids in the audience, but they were like, "Yeah, you can swear." The MC was like to one of the kids, "What's the rudest word you know?" And then his parent went, "Cunt."
Oh,
so
lovely.
Yeah, so it wasn't quite I did a gig in Putney the night before. It wasn't quite the Putney.
bit different, but
Putney. So and then a guy and his son asked for a picture with me afterwards. And then they said, "Your card is marked, mate," and then walked out. I don't know what that meant.
Yeah.
That was actually really nice, to be fair. Like a dad and his son had enjoyed it. And then drove back. Cool. So it was all right. It was just mad. You don't realise these people, or at least so many of these people exist. I mean, there are tens of thousands of people there.
Yeah.
It was a huge deal.
Huge event. Car culture outside of London is massive. It's everything, you know? It's like you could go to any village and there'd be like in the surrounding area, there'd be some kind of car club or like it's always like a specific car as well. It's like I'm a Jaguar Appreciation Society member, or like I'm a specific cars.
Have you seen?
And they'd meet up and talk about.
Have you seen Nigel's got a Maserati? What a bell end! What an absolute bell end! He's not allowed.
Nigel is a very good name for people as well in the Jaguar Appreciation Society.
Yeah, so it was that. It was loads. There was loads of these guys. And if it was a family event.
I like how you say guys. I presume it was heavily male majority crowd.
Yeah, it was, but it was also like quite family. It felt like quite a lot of families there.
People would definitely take your kids out, because if you've got magicians and comics and stuff, I guess
that was all right. It was all right. So apologies for the lateness of this episode, guys. It won't be out at its usual time, but I had to go entertain the VW owners of these great shores. I tried to start a chant of Jeremy Corbyn, and it was
just had none of it.
But then I said, let's get rid of the congestion charge and 2-minute applause break. So, whatever. Swings and roundabouts.
Electric cars are going to be the death of us all. That's what you need to say.
How was... So we'll saunter into the news just straight away, just off the bat straight away. How is your Freedom Week going, Tom? We are in Freedom Week, the 19th of July. There are currently no real restrictions. In London, they've imposed the masks on. Yeah, okay, go for it.
Enforced
ones, are there?
Well, the thing is, they say it's freedom, but people are still wearing masks everywhere, and you still have to wear them on the tube, and that's the most, that really for me is the sticking point. That's not where I want to be wearing them.
PC gone mad. That it is absolute PC gone mad.
Honestly, PC gone bloody mad.
Yeah. But I think that to be fair, I think that's quite a good fair resolution, because I think a lot of the country don't think coronavirus exists anymore. But then a lot of Londoners are like, basically all my mates are in isolation right now.
Yeah.
So
well, they did. Yeah, they were saying that what was it, 1 in every 77 people or something had it.
1 in 80
week.
apparently have the Delta
80.
variant. This is what I've been told.
Okay.
By a reliable source called my mate, who just told me about 45 minutes ago.
My mate Steve on Facebook. But,
yeah.
But there is also chatter of like new variants popping up. I think
all the time. All the time.
There was something insane though, but like just today they were monitoring something like 16 different new variants.
Oh, fabulous. All the choice. What's going to be your autumn variant? Like, you've got to think of these things now. You've got to get involved. Like, what if you are here this time next year being like, I got the Delta coronavirus, you're a mug. It's embarrassing.
Like seasonal wardrobe, it just changes. You've got to be on it.
I mean, like, Delta variant was so summer 2021. Are you kidding me? Like, I've got the Cessna variant. It's sick. It's so cool.
So good.
So you can't lose your sense of touch. It's amazing. Like, just put my hands on fryers. You grow 3 inches, but your erections become inrections, and they just go in. They just go inside.
Who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want an erection? Could be worse. You could get that. I bet it was just going to be very interesting to see where we all end up. Like, it's Freedom Day, but like everything with COVID, it's like we are making steps forward, but they feel like two steps forward, 1 step back is what I would say every time. So we are progressing, but there is always slight regression from where we were told we would be anyway.
Yeah, just like our comedy careers.
Exactly.
And so £1,000 of your own money.
And no one ever told us we would. Actually, people like discouraged us incredibly. We're like, no, you'll never be there. People are actually shocked that we got this far. Like,
we keep proving them wrong every time. Are those guys not working in accounting now? I thought they would have given up years ago. Jesus.
People genuinely, when you tell them like, "Oh, we're gonna do comedy," they're like, "Oh, whoa, okay, wow."
One of them signed and won an award. What has happened? It's just a mega.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't believe you, man. Now, funny. That's funny. That's funny. I remember those guys. That's funny. So £1,000 of your own money on the table. Will we have another lockdown?
Oh, in winter, yeah. I would say
full national lockdown.
I mean, it's also, but equally though, cases have been dropping for the last 4 days. But I do think it will be a winter variant that will require, maybe not to the extent of the levels of lockdown that we've seen, but restrictions come back in to some degree in the winter. I would have thought.
It's like a new season of this TV show that just keeps on going. They just keep introducing a new variant of COVID as the baddie, as like the big bad for like 3 months. And it's like, well, as long as we defeat the Delta variant, and then you have like a 2-month, yay, we defeated it. And then it's like, coming this fall, there's no variant.
It's the Marvel Cinematic Universe, isn't it? But like now they're in phase 4, they've got to there's always got to be a more evil superpower, Yeah. So, but it was Thanos, and now they're like, oh, something even more evil than Thanos is here.
Yeah, COVID-20 is coming.
Makes Thanos look like a bitch. That's what it's going to do.
That's what it is. I'm going to collect all the variants like Thanos and just have this ultra COVID and just be able to like jump buildings and run 100 meters in 2 seconds.
Hospital glove. You're going to have your COVID variant.
The little germs just like wriggling around it. The little just...
Delta, Kent, Brazil.
South Africa. And it's like when I get a different one, I get a different power. Like, I'm just losing. But then what's actually happening, I'm just losing a sense every time. Like, you've got to stop. All I've got is the sense of smell left randomly is the last one to come. But yeah, I mean, that's what it'll be. Well, I think I'm surprised with this government whether we'll get another national lockdown. I think there could definitely be local lockdowns. I definitely could see that. But also and look, people have different opinions, and I hate that about the way coronavirus has been managed or not managed, that the government are basically like, well, it just depends on how responsible you're going to be. I mean, it's up to you. It's not our job to run the country. So, you've got to basically sort that out yourself. And but I personally, I've got my second jab booked in. When I get that, I'm going to go live my normal life. And whatever, if it's legal, I'm going to go. I'm just going to go and live it. Yeah, I'm just going to go and if I want to do it, I'll do it. Because I've done my bit. I've got my 2 jabs, and I don't want to just constantly live in fear. And then just you get symptoms, just test yourself. That's going to be my plan. It's funny actually. I was talking to someone, and they were like, the way the government has managed, and this latest draft of the way the government has managed it in terms of you've got your responsibility for how safe you are with coronavirus is like the way big companies, like big bottled water companies, basically they were confronted with sustainability first. And they were like, look, you're creating this so much waste. You've got to deal with it. Like, what's you going to do? And they basically put it back on the consumer. It's like, no, it's the consumer's job to recycle our bottles. That's not our job. Once the consumer bought them, that's their job to recycle them. It's not our job to recycle all our bottles. So that's, I think, what's happening now. It's like, well, it's your job not to get coronavirus. It's not our job to stop you.
That does make sense. And it's shock they're passing the buck and putting it on someone else to make all the decisions. And that's why that would be ideal for this government to be to get to that point where they didn't have to be get in trouble for making any serious decisions. That's the dream for them, kind of thing. Yeah. I think it said a lot that Boris was planning apparently a big Winston Churchill style Freedom Day speech, but then he regressed and didn't do it. Would have been good to hear the Freedom Day speech,
I could do that Freedom Day speech.
We will fight the bouncers outside the clubs, and we will finger the girls on the beaches.
That's funny. I think this is my version of it. So it is amazing that we've conquered Corona. That's how you do it, man. Well, I'm looking forward to the Bezos variant. When Bezos and he's brought back some sort of Venom style little entity, some space COVID. We didn't think space had COVID, but now
he's the straight. I've never really heard Bezos speak. All the other billionaires, I've sort of know what they sound like, but Bezos this week has been a real eye opener for.
Do you want to tell the listeners if they've been living on a rock, they might have been visited by it.
Well, you have been living on a rock, but Bezos no longer lives on it with you. But Jeffrey Bezos, has CEO of Amazon, has taken his trip to space. He was bested by Richard Branson, who made it there first, being the first billionaire in space. But then Jeffrey Bezos decided to make a penis-shaped rocket. And let's face it, it was just 100% penis-shaped. There was no, knocking it around, beating around the bush. And then he went up into the sky exactly like Dr. Evil and Austin Powers in a penis-shaped rocket and went to space and then came back down to Earth.
He rode his dick rocket up there, man. It was so funny. I mean, the way as well he came back and said, I'd just like to thank all the Amazon workers and the customers for, because I couldn't have done this without you, and I couldn't have afforded it without you. And it's like, if you're an Amazon warehouse worker on no pay, doing packing boxes all day long, and then you see this huge
themselves. They just try not to piss themselves all day. That's literally what they do.
And then you see this huge metallic knob just going up into space with the founder on it. Who did you see when he was doing the interview as well? When he had and someone captioned it when you haven't decided what you haven't decided what the theme is for your 11th birthday, and he's in a full spacesuit and then a cowboy hat. It's just ridiculous, man. He's a 57-year-old bloke.
Yeah, it's the laugh was the scariest thing though. When he laughed, it's so creepy. It's like a proper Dr. Evil laugh. It's like, oh dear, this is spooky.
And then did you see the going around about the first teenager in space, because he was on that ship? So they had 4 people, right?
I do. Yeah, there was a guy who stopped.
Because there was a person who was supposed to go there but couldn't. But this 18-year-old guy got to go on it. His dad paid $28 million to get him on there.
Wait, so he ended up being the guy, because I thought there was a guy who was too busy.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. So I think he replaced him. I think this kid replaced him, I think.
Oh, cool.
And so he became the first teenager ever in space.
Oh, that's cool. I would love to
$28 million.
know
And I was like,
who.
Dad, I can't believe you wouldn't spend that on me. Like, you're such a dickhead. Like, I can't do anything. Like, so long. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's a
I
real
like the
dad. That's
idea
a
of
dad who loves his son.
how rich was the guy who didn't go on the, who was too busy. He's just, just like, oh mate, I was actually like deep into my sort of like, phase where I was just buying random crap on Amazon, like see-through toaster, trip to space, and now I just can't go. I just
Oh my God. Like, I've double booked
a
myself.
nightmare.
You know what I
I've got
mean?
brunch. I
Yeah.
can't make space.
Oh my God, me and another billionaire, like I agreed with him that I was going to drill to the Earth's core that day, and oh my God, now I'm an idiot.
So sorry. Yeah.
So sorry. Yeah, innit? Too busy to go space.
It's too busy.
Like
I'm just too busy.
at the rocket being like, "You come in space, bro." Like almost
Just
about to
texting
leave.
him, bro, where you at?
Where you at? And then he's texting,
Just airing him. Just
yeah, no,
blue
that's it. He
ticking
gets,
him. Just
he gets the
nothing.
blue tick, then he gets to see the dots, and then the dots disappear. It's like, and then he gets like a message like way later, and he's like, when they're already in space, like, oh, probably not gonna make it today, mate. Like,
So sorry. So sorry.
Like, so gas, like, such a shame not to make it.
Oh, bruv. Honestly, I really want.
Mate,
Next
you know
time,
how
I'm
much I love
100%
you.
there. Give me a date.
Mate,
Give me a
it
date.
is what it is, man. Like, so annoying, but like, see you next time though. Like, I'll definitely be there. Next space mission, I'll be there.
Yeah, 100%, bro.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I feel bad for old not Bezos. I feel bad for like Elon Musk because I feel like he is in a different bracket.
Elon Musk.
Not bad, but he's in a different, definitely not bad. Sorry, he's in a different bracket of billionaire though from these idiots because like he is like he's doing space, but he's trying to like get humans to Mars. He's not sending himself up there. Or Richard Branson's is the worst. He's just making a holiday company for billionaires. Like no one, it's just fucking shocking. You know how many problems there are on Earth and how many like staff you've let go of like from Virgin Atlantic and stuff, and so many people have lost their jobs within your companies in the last year and a half, and you all focused on going into space. And just him going into space, they were like they did a graph of how many jobs he could have saved by him not going into space. There's like so many people's jobs could have been spared.
These people are insane. I mean, could you imagine having £1 billion? You wouldn't even know how to spend that. How would you even you couldn't get through that. So imagine you've got £1 billion. Everyone's sucking up to you. Everyone's agreeing with you. It's ridiculous, man. Like you say, lads, let's be legends and go space in a couple of years' time. And everyone's like, yes, Richard, mate. Dickie, my boy. Yeah, everyone's loving it, man. But
I already dislike Branson, I think. Like, I just feel
apparently he's quite an inspiring figure in terms of the from a business point of view. But there was a story of someone. Who was it? It's a comedian works in a Virgin Active gym as his lifeguard, and they say Richard Branson, like, there's a picture of him in every Virgin gym. He that's mandatory, and then he also does like the videos, like the health and safety videos and stuff, and it all just seems a really egotistical man. Like
he's a bit of a busybody, and he loves putting being around and being in stuff. He is like the most famous dyslexic. So I should back him on that.
Oh, is it? Oh, really?
Yeah, he was like a patron of the school that I went to because it was good for dyslexic kids and stuff. But like, it's I don't know. I still think he's a dick. Like, just fucking, it would piss me off less. At least the other people's companies hadn't sacked half their workforce in the last year.
Yeah.
I don't think Bezos obviously treats his company, his people who work for him like shit, but at least he's
employed. Fucking killing it, bro. They are. I mean, fucking hell, man. How much money can one thing make? Went on the drive, we were passing all the huge Amazon warehouses, and it was like quite ominous. Of just like, I mean, what don't they do? They are going to do every single thing. When they have Amazon comedians, when they have at the moment, there's definitely some kid, there's definitely some team working on the AI comedian. For Amazon. They've got the Amazon specials. We haven't been asked yet, so I assume that's because they're building their way up. They're trying to get the easy yeses. Then when they ask us, and we're like, yeah, and then on the day we're like, oh mate, too busy to record an Amazon special. Like, sorry, so long.
No, mate,
I've actually got to double up with a festival for people who own tractors. Won't be back in time.
I'm actually going to the South Shield Skoda Festival.
Skoda Festival, yeah. Skoda and Kia Festival. It's a huge one. You do Skoda, and then they drive you over to do the Kia. It's
actually the biggest, the biggest kind of car festival.
Biggest Swedish car festival in all of the Northeast.
and all of Hampshire. So
Hmm.
it's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So when they were working on that AI comedian, but not yet. So I'll take what I can. And then when this bot comes up and goes, I was talking to my mother-in-law and I was saying, which coffin should you be buried in? And then everyone's like, genius.
Yeah, I feel like when it comes to that, like, I'd be really sad with the day that, like, I don't know if it would come to that, but if definitely if they could write material for people, it would just become like the music industry, wouldn't it? And we'd just be
Have you seen
it'd just be like,
though the bot that wrote a set based on watching loads of comedians?
yeah, but wasn't it like did it
So
make sense?
funny. It's horrendous. Yeah. But
Yeah,
it's funny because you see all the nuances of where like comics set, like where setups are. It's
yeah,
because it's like rhythmically it's sort of and structurally it makes sense, but none of the words are right. So
yeah.
it's like I was in a car with a bird yesterday before he flung the laptop at me, and it's like doesn't quite work. But what is happening right now in real life with real people is the Tokyo Olympics.
That is happening.
2020 Tokyo Olympics. We've got the Elwes Mexican rowing team in the mix.
And Elwes has made the Olympics. It was about
Amazing.
time that
Yeah.
a much more talented Elwes than me did something good.
Yeah.
He
You applied for
is going to
skateboarding,
dominate.
and you applied for skateboarding, and they were like, "We're actually looking for like teenagers, not like weird old men doing skateboarding."
What do you mean, bro? What do you mean? Come on.
What? I'm 19, cuz.
Yeah. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
What are you saying, my G?
Yeah, I mean, with the Olympics, there is a stark realization. We'll get onto my cousin in a second, but there's a stark realization. I feel like everyone has about 4 Olympics in them in their life that they remember before they realize they'll never be in it.
Mm.
You kind of what you see about you're like when you're a teenager and you're the Olympics on, you're like, yeah, if I really focused, I could probably
You run fast in your garden. I'm like, I'm pretty fucking quick, mate.
yeah,
I'm pretty
diving.
rapid.
How hard's that? Whatever, you could do it. But then you hit your sort of 20s and you're like, I just don't think it's actually going to happen.
Your 20s, you're still thinking it. At 19, you're like, yeah, mate.
No, in my 20s,
I'm in that
I still
200 meters. I'm in that 200 meters race.
No, like you give up on the track and field, but you're like, the diving or the
shooting.
Shooting, yeah. If I train really hard, but especially as we come to the end of our 20s, then that's just the real stark realization will never be as we pass our physical peak. That is when you realize you'll never ever be in the Olympics.
Yeah. Well, it's like I remember for me that was with football. When I was 9, 10, 11, I was like, maybe I will just make it. Maybe I'll just be the best footballer ever. Maybe that'll happen. And then sort of when I was 16 and Barcelona had just signed like a 13-year-old for like 2 million quid, and you're like, I think I might be out. And I'd still like wear your Man United shirt to the ground and be like, maybe they'll point to the crowd and be like, can anyone play? And I'm like, yeah. I'll dip in. No worries. Left wing. I'll cut inside on my right. I'm lethal. But then you just do realize no. And then the worst is then when you see a younger generation of also shit athletes being more fit than you, and you're getting done by a 20-year-old at Pauli, and you're like, this should be illegal. This is outrageous.
Oh,
it's very funny though, the reporting of the Olympics, right? Because normally there's this big fanfare, there's a big lead up to it, there's loads of billboards and the athletes on cereal boxes, the classics, all that sort of stuff. This time it's being reported like an occupation of Beirut. It's like I was listening to the BBC radio news on the way up, and it was like, the Tokyo Olympics has started today to mixed response from protests outside the grounds. This is like normally it's like, and Team GB start their quest for gold. But this is very much like, and we are hoping not to all die from the Olympic variant of COVID that will be coming in September.
If a variant does get brewed in the Olympic Village, think how strong that variant will be. That's going to be the most.
If it's taking the swimmers down,
the most insane variant ever made. Just
the obese people of our great shores that we know.
The obese chip eaters of our shores are fucked, mate. Yeah. You got Olympic athletes going down with it.
They should release some COVID in the 100 meters, and then they go and see if they can outrun it. Yeah, when they got the baton being wiped down at every interjection, that's not the most
spray.
fun. Exactly. Yeah. Okay, go.
Run. I do feel bad for the athletes because you train so hard, and there's fuck all money in the majority of Olympic sports. It's all done through sponsorship, and like the national lottery does a lot as well.
Yeah,
But
really.
there
And then
is
also
fuck all money.
afterwards as well. Yeah, you're an Olympian or whatever, but if you don't come at least third in the world, a lot of people don't give a shit. And then
Oh, you have to
afterwards,
really win gold, and even if you
yeah,
don't, even when you win gold, most go on and get regular jobs afterwards, or like go into coaching or something, or But it's really a labor of love, and you really have to love what you do, and just want to be the best at what you do. So I do feel bad for people who go into the Olympics and not, because it's not the athlete's fault at all. It's not the athlete's fault at all. It should have either been suspended for another year, or they should have just, gone fully at it and just gone, yeah, we're 100% behind this. But this sort of midway Olympics is like, oh, I don't know. I feel like the big turning point was, I know Honda, who were the big sponsor, the president said he wouldn't go to the ceremony and stuff. And that was like a really big turning
there was
point.
1,000 people. There was 1,000 people total for the Olympic
90,000 seat
ceremony.
stadium.
Yeah, how crazy is that, man?
And you're just like, yeah, fuck. And look, I'm sure it will still be great, and I'm still going to watch it. And of course, I'm going to watch my cousin Charlie Owen's row on Friday. That is very, very exciting, and I'm sure he'll be in another Olympics as well. But I just think I don't know. For me, it's a bit heartbreaking for the athletes. That's what I'm sad about.
Yeah.
Just
But
because
good
they won't,
luck.
mainly because not because they won't get to perform and win their medals, because they will, but the opportunity for like sponsorship and money to be earned for them after the Olympics will be less if they win it in this Olympics, and that is so shit because they've worked their whole life to do this.
Yeah. And also the thrill of when you're doing it in a full stadium, man.
Yeah, of course.
It's insane. It must be the rush going through there, but then it will feel a lot more like just another sort of heat training session or something like that.
Yeah.
But look, good luck, Team GB. I hope you do well. The women's football team won their first game, and that's all I know
Sweet.
from the
Great.
whole.
I think we're in for a few medals. I think we could actually be really good. Well, now old Russia. Are Russia allowed to? Are they even allowed? I watched that Icarus documentary. Absolutely insane how much
What is
doping
it?
Russia were doing.
Oh, really?
You not seen it? Oh my! Oh,
No.
it's wild. So the Russian,
Tom, when
the
have
Russians.
I ever seen a documentary that you've seen? When
You
have
should
I
see
ever?
watch this one though, because it's a very, very good documentary. So Russia were doing state-sponsored doping. So basically, their
Really?
special services, secret services, special services, secret services.
Mhm.
So Russia got banned from the Olympics. They weren't in
Yeah,
the
I
last
remember that. Yeah,
Olympics. You could go as independent athletes, but you couldn't go under Russia. So what happened was you had to go and put all the urine test samples in a fridge, right? So there
okay.
was a controlled room, and then they had to leave all the samples in this fridge, and then the fridge would be closed, okay? And then someone would come and collect all the samples and take them off to a lab. But what the Russians did is the fridge was against a wall. They cut a hole in the wall and in the back of the fridge and created like a slidey trapdoor. And they were sliding
Jesus.
out and putting in the clean urine through the slidey trapdoor.
That's mad. How could they do that? How do they even do that? That's quite impressive.
Yeah, I mean, they are the Russian Secret Service.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Fair. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it didn't even work, did it? They didn't win loads.
I mean, they got caught. No, but Russia they
They
got
used
caught
to.
this
Yeah.
time. Think how long they've been doing that doping for. Probably for like 30 years or something. They just got
maybe,
caught
yeah.
now.
Yeah, to be fair, because it used to be there was Russia, China, and USA. They were the three
Yeah.
that would win
Yeah.
it. One of those three.
All the time. And now
Yeah.
it's like, well, okay, we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah. Now
I
they've
don't
given
know.
it all of their athletes their COVID vaccine, the Sputnik
Yeah,
vaccine.
Sputnik. Yeah.
Suddenly they've got horse legs and then shot putting at 18 miles. What's going on that?
It's just the
That is
COVID
just
vaccine.
the training
Yeah.
regime of the Russian people.
Yeah.
This is why we can
Everyone in
throw
Russia
harder.
have this.
We
Yeah.
work hard. That is why we throw hard.
I just give him booster before the race.
Yeah. His arm's 4 meters long. What are you talking about? It is simple Russian man. Right.
Yeah.
That was the news, everybody.
News.
So now we
are going to move on to Agony Uncle, but not in a weird way.
Yes. So Tom Elwes put out the beacon for our sage advice. Who knows if anyone listens to it? I will give an update on one of the listeners. This is from April. I hope you don't mind us saying your name, April. But April got in touch with us before about wanting to find friends in London since she'd moved and felt quite isolated. And she came along to Vauxhall Comedy Club, which you can at any point every Tuesday, AIDIF Tuesdays at Vauxhall Comedy Club, for our stand-up show. The link is in our Instagram on AIDIF Pod. And she didn't make any friends there, but she came with a friend. So she is doing it right. So
Maybe we should have like a little chat. We'll stand at the end. If you come down to AIDIF on Tuesdays, we'll be standing at the end. And if you want to hang around afterwards, after we've done all of the kind of admin that we need to do at the end of shows, we will
the
come out and have a
crying
little,
and the
reassuring each other. No, this isn't a joke. We will do it. But we will have a chat with you, and just please come up to us and say that you're a listener. And there's loads of other people who probably will want to have a chat with us, but we'll fully ignore them if you say you're a listener.
If you're a listener, yeah, if it would be someone being like, I didn't think I'd make it through chemo to see you guys. I'm like, fuck off, mate. You listen to AIDIF Pod. Fuck you. You know
Come
what I
back
mean?
when you do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know what I mean? But yeah, absolutely. Tom is quite right. Give us a shout if you have any listened and you come down to Vauxhall Comedy. So thank you very much, April. So, Tom, what is the advice
so we have
this week?
Very high stress job. Okay, this is from a listener. It says very, very high stress job. Okay, that is leading them leading them
or her.
Or her.
Like A-cast a bit.
Leading them to gain weight, and they're struggling to lose the weight. Ali, as someone who has been doing a lot of running recently, what advice would you give someone trying to lose weight in a high stress environment? High stress corporate environment.
That is tough, man. That is really tough. You've got to watch your health, and that isn't just a gaining, losing weight only. As in, if you're working in high stress jobs, you've got to make sure you're not leading down a path of self-destruction. So you got to think, is this job worth it? Firstly, and if the answer is yes, if you're thinking the job is good or you really want the money, then absolutely. And then if you've got to that point that you're like, okay, I do want the job, but it's affecting my health, it's all about diet. Weight loss and gain is all about diet. It's not. I've been doing running, guilty, whatever. Get over it. Some people are just born this way, but you can exercise, and exercise makes you feel good, makes you feel fine. But if you're talking about weight loss, it's hard to lose weight because of actual exercise, cardio, and stuff like that. The main thing's diet. And what you just got to try and do is try and substitute sweet things or whatever your vice is, whether it's big carby things or whatever, and try and substitute them for something smaller. Big thing is not having it in the house. That's for me. That's what I'm like. If I don't have chocolate cookies in the house, I won't be so inclined as to go down and get them to eat, to stuff my face. And I love chocolate cookies, mate. Sainsbury's, we don't get endorsed by people yet. They say we're too hot for TV. But Sainsbury's triple chocolate cookies has tasted the difference on my days. Are you serious?
They are good. They are
Jesus
good,
Christ. But if they're
Ben's
not in the house,
as
I won't go down. What's that?
Ben's cookies.
Oh, yeah, but that's bouge. That's probably bouge. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, just try and substitute stuff. Again, also portion control as well. Like, I'm a big thing. I will eat and eat and eat. Yeah. I don't have I'll just have a little bit and then I'll put the rest in the fridge. No, it's getting eaten, right? Chocolate bar is done. When's the next one? But portion control is a big thing, man. If you're like, it would be good to know what they're eating at the moment. But it's like, even if it's like pizza and hummus, whatever, just have one pizza bread. Just have the one and leave it. If it's chocolate, just get one chocolate bar and just eat that and have that. You can still have it, but don't just keep eating it. That's my big thing as well. You got to reward yourself. You're going to find another vice. That's the problem. So a lot of people, if it's not sweets, it's drink and all that sort of stuff. But just portion control and try and substitute things in.
Do you think if you didn't have the discipline, you could go full fat guy? If you just
metabolism's one. But my mum and dad, look, right, they were lovely people growing up. They didn't raise me to be racist. They didn't raise me to be sexist. They didn't raise me to be homophobic. But they did raise me to be fattest. Yeah. So My mum was so shameless about it. She would just be walking, we were walking through, and then she'd go, oh, look at that big fat family over there. And they're massive. And then that was like, that's what she would say. And my dad would be like, my dad would look over and go like, God, how'd you let yourself go like that? Like they would not. My dad is a bit chunky now and he loves it. So what's that about? But my mum, a big thing for her, she grew up in Scotland. Everyone was fat. The big thing for her was like she's passed that down to me. So now I'm the first in the mirror to go, oh, you chunky boy, you got to get rid of this shit. But in terms of like my eating habits, I could definitely smash out. I could eat like a whole box of Cadbury's Heroes or Celebrations or whatever. Done. Wouldn't even think twice. I wouldn't be there going, oh, I have to keep eating. No, I wouldn't even think about it. 100%. But what, are you not like that?
Nah, to be honest, I've been really shit with working out recently. But in general, I was pretty good at it. But like, I won't get fat. I get like skinny fat because like I'm weird. I'm like just one of those weirdly
the
lanky
pot
people.
belly, but you keep
yeah.
long.
So it doesn't look great, but I wouldn't. I think it'd be impressive if I managed to get fat. I'd really have to really drive the food in.
No,
like,
right.
Yeah.
No, I could, I reckon. But I do have fairly high metabolism at the moment. And also I'm on my feet a lot during the day as well. That's another thing as well in terms of you'd be amazed at how a little bit of exercise here and there will do wonders for you because you're just sitting sedentary at the desk. Like take the stairs, not the lift, walk. If it's usually get a bus, a few stops, just walk that distance. Like I know it sounds patronizing, but these little things really help. Like the more you stay on your feet during the day, the more that'll help. The exercise point, it's good to have a regime and that's going to help shape you better and make you feel better. And also for me personally, if I exercise, it makes me eat healthier. I have almost the reverse effect in that a lot of people say like, oh, if I go for a run, then I can have a slice of chocolate cake. I'm not like that at all. If I go for a run, I don't want to ruin it. So I'm like, oh yeah, like I've had the run and now I'm going to keep up the healthy vibe. So that can help you as well. But exercise itself generally, it's not going to help you like lose loads of weight unless you get super into it. But it's the diet. The diet is the main thing, man. Just watch. And eating late at night as well. Eating late at night as well is a killer, man. Try and stop yourself having like late night snacks and shit, crisps and stuff when you're eating TV. Like all those little bits. It's thing. What you could do is you could write down, and this works for people, you write down a food diary. You just write down everything, and then you look at it and you're like, fuck, man, I had so many snacks today. And you forget. I haven't done that myself, but I've heard that can work for people. Also, as well,
secret eaters. It's like secret eaters.
Yeah. Also, as well, them or her, wherever you are, like if you don't want to be that size, then look, use that as motivation, right? You can do it. I believe in you. Do it. But also, as well, a bit of weight here and there. It's not the worst thing, man. It's not the worst thing. Yeah, but stay healthy. Stay healthy, right? Is this job worth it?
Healthy.
Sorry about the stress. Yeah. And biscuits and shit at work, just cut it out. Just do not that shit, man. Oh, mate.
Biscuits at work. Killer.
Biscuits at work. It's the psychological thing as well. When we used to work in office, my old office, if anyone brought biscuits, everyone would seize upon them. But then they'd always leave the last one. No one would have the last one. Because if you had the last one, then you're a fat shit. But if you had like any before, then I might have had just one. Who cares? Even though like someone's had 4, but they haven't had the last one. And there's the other thing as well. This is a big thing. When I was dieting, sorry, I'm going on and on about this, but don't stop eating, right? Don't just say like, I'm just going to not eat tomorrow. I'm just going to not eat because I feel like a whale. Don't do that. That's the worst thing. You're better eating regularly and small portions. That's why when I was at my sort of leanest, I was eating probably every 3 hours, but I was having like chicken and salad. That's it.
Cool.
Some nuts and stuff.
Sweet. Right. Well, there you go. There's some in-depth tips of how to stay healthy and lose weight if you want to. All right, we are going to move on now to FailMail. We asked you what weird ways or what interesting ways have you done? To beat the heat? What have you done?
What's going on there? What interesting ways done you have to beat
stay
the
cool
heat
in the summer? Is what I should say.
How do you stay cool in the heat? And the weirder the better. So we'll do the ones off the official AIDIF Instagram first. The real legends. So hot drinks, which is a contentious one, I know. Not so cold showers and don't dry off. Stand naked in front of the fan.
Oh, that could definitely work.
I mean, that's also bold, man. You got to make sure your blinds are drawn before someone looks over and just sees you like serial killer style, just standing
Yeah.
in front of this blowing fan.
That's how you piss off your flatmates. Like, I'll do what I
Everyone
want.
does, yeah.
I'm using the living room for a while. Don't come in.
Going to the shop with no intention of buying anything, but stand at the frozen food aisle. That's nice. I like that. Get some free freezing.
It's good.
And then the final one: go to the cinema and watch The Human Centipede. I don't know why.
What? Don't know what.
I don't know why that would make you cool down at all. I mean, maybe
Any
there's
other
something
film?
in.
I don't.
Yeah,
I mean, as
maybe
films go, that would probably raise my body temperature more than anything.
maybe there's something in the feeling of going to the cinema. Maybe cinemas are air conditioned, but I don't know why watching the horror of the human centipede would relax you down. So, but yeah, thank you for posting into the official AIDIF account. Tom, you got any you want to share?
Yeah. So we got cold iced water in hot water bottle at night. That's actually pretty good. Shut all blinds and curtains to keep the house cool. Okay.
Shut all the blinds and curtains. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
to keep the sun out. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I love the heat. Never complain. Eat fruits.
that's come from a banana. Yeah, what is it?
Yeah.
It's come from someone straight from Innocent Smoothies has just messaged us. Someone just messaged me, bruv, you just walk around everywhere naked. So I like the way they've started with bruv as if it's going to be like some mandem advice. Hey, bruv, it's simple, yeah? Just walk around everywhere naked. Lovely stuff.
Okay, so this is a throw my outfit in the rinse and spin cycle, then wear it damp. Wear a damp outfit.
Wow, that's committed. Mate,
Yeah.
have you heard of this before? Napkin Bath. Pour cool water on napkins and put the napkins on yourself.
Okay.
That's
Interesting.
got a weird, grim feeling, though, I think. Sleep naked with a fan and a cup of water. Sprinkle water on balls every now and then. Ecstasy.
Good. Good.
That's that. To be fair, that wasn't replying to whether things are cold or not. That was just a message I got. Someone's defending. No, you gone.
Someone just put live in Aberdeen.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good long-term solution. Someone's defending themselves already. Sleep under a damp sheet. Not weird. They said heavenly. Oh, here we go. So this is a weird.
Okay, you go.
Okay. Peppermint oil under your tongue and on your pulse points, like wrist inside elbow. Peppermint oil.
I've never even heard of peppermint. I guess you'd be going for like the sort of mint kind of refreshingness, but I don't know. Maybe your brain associates that with sort of coolness, coldness. I put a cold wet tea towel on my cat and he loved it. I mean, that's just great.
And he fucking loved it.
Yeah, so I've done some scientific investigation for you, some trials, and yeah, cold wet tea towel.
Take a really cold shower and let yourself dry naturally, or you can use an ice cube if you want to make it more sexy. So there you go, listeners. I don't know how you shower with one ice cube, but you go getting around your whole body.
Beer or pina colada.
What an intriguing person.
Yeah.
Someone coming in straight from the 1700s, feet into a washing bowl full of cold water. What the fuck's a washing bowl? Just drink, mate. Cool. Cool block wrapped in a towel. Hot weather version of a hot water bottle. Someone said this is fun by coming to your performance.
Yeah, it's always lukewarm, to be fair.
You know what I mean? But I don't even get what, like, cool. Like, is it that makes you cold because you're so shit at comedy?
Yeah,
cold
something
room,
like that.
Costco dairy fridge. A lot of people saying get naked. It's the only way. Putting my clothes in the fridge to use before I go out.
T-shirt. I could see it. I could see it.
Yeah. There's just a few people as well messaging in from various countries saying 24 is springtime, 24 is cold for us, 24 degrees this is, 24 degrees. It's funny that you think this is hot weather.
Yeah, a lot of Australians on mine as well saying this is England needs to calm down. It's really not hot, blah, blah, blah.
Well, fuck you. This is as hot as it gets. Enema filled with cold water? Oh, Jesus.
Self-enema. We just whip out the garden hose.
Up he goes. Oh, here it comes. Jesus Christ.
Okay,
Yeah.
the old enema.
Yeah. Ice packed between your thighs. Oh, here we go. Mix yogurt with grated cucumber yourself. Don't buy from shop. What's happened to them in the shop? I've never even seen that ever. Could you see if there's any more? Someone said keep feet in cold weather. So I suppose be in 2 different countries, time zones. I'm not sure what that is. And then someone said piss, just piss. So that's good.
Oh.
Yeah. And then a lot of people just saying wet your clothes and hang around. Work from bathtub, someone said as well, which is, I guess that works. So fair play. And then just the final one from friend of the show, Simone, who we've had, Simone, you may remember from escapades with the hotel in Australia. So
good friend.
I'm AC only. You ain't got no aircon. I ain't going anywhere. Employer. Any questions about the position? Me, yeah. What's the air conditioning situation? So that's her vibe. Thank you very much, Simone, for messaging in once again. So there you have it. That's the way to keep cold in this heat. And AIDIF, as always, reporting on the burgeoning news just as it's about to start raining in the UK. So there you go. What can you do? Thank you so much for listening to another episode of All I Do Is Fail. You can get a second episode every week by donating to our Patreon, patreon.com/AIDIFpod. Just £4 a month will get you an extra episode every week. And also every Tuesday, as we mentioned, we're at Vauxhall Comedy Club doing All I Do Is Fail Tuesdays, the hottest new stand-up comedians for only £5, and that gets you a free drink when you get there. So really do come down every Tuesday. Show starts at 8 o'clock. Tom, got anything to promote?
The only thing I have to promote, if you're in Farnham on Saturday, come on down. And
anyway, that's been All I Do Is Fail.
Yeah, come on down if you've got any big Surrey listeners. And also, you can follow me at all good social media platforms. I'm at Tom Elwes there. Guys, thank you so much for listening.
Also, as well, I will say as well, so I'm doing, so in terms of my work in progress shows, I'm doing a couple of shows at Ventnor Fringe Festival in the Isle of Wight. So that is the 31st of July and 1st of August if you're there. That's the Saturday and Sunday. And then I'm also doing another preview at Top Secret on the 14th of August if you wanted to come.
Cool. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to All I Do Is Fail. We will see you next week. Goodbye.
Take care. Bye-bye.